Good day, YouTube. JD here for the Pagan Perspective on this beautiful Wednesday, or at least it's beautiful here. Hope you guys are enjoying wonderful weather. It's pretty much summertime here in the eastern seaboard of the United States, and we're getting lots and lots of wonderful hot weather. So look forward to a lot of outdoor videos coming soon, or at least I hope, because the rainy season also accompanies summer here in the United States. So this week's question involves mental health. This week's topic is mental health and how it connects with pagan practice. This week's question reads, so I've been living with mental health issues for as far back as I can remember. I've been practicing magic for a minute, and I recently decided to tell my shrink about my practice because paganism. He seems to think my practice is enabling my mental health issues, but I find it helps, especially grounding meditations. My question is, if you or someone you know have had issues that impede your practice, how did you, or that someone you know, manage to balance the physical with the spiritual without one tainting the other? If you find this confusing, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to clarify. Okay, so that's a very, very fascinating question. And one of the main things I want to say about it, one of the first things that kind of pops into my head when I first process that question with my thinking is that in a number of books on witchcraft and Wicca in particular, I remember that there were at least 2 different or 3 different authors that recommend when you start to get into the practice of magic that you seek out mental help. And I believe the reason for that, especially after being involved in it so long and coming in contact with different deities and different spirits, is that depending on how far along you get in this process, you can begin to see things. You can begin to hear things. You can begin to have dreams, and these dreams and these sightings and these things can become hyper real, supernatural. You can feel things, you can see things, you can taste things, you can smell things. And I believe those authors meant to do that to help you decide or help you learn, is this a mental issue or is this real? Is this supernatural? They didn't outright say that, but that's been my hunch since they recommend magical practitioners seek some kind of mental help just to make sure that you're okay. Now, to back that up or to go in another direction with this discussion or this particular topic, I will say that in working with magic and working with any type of rituals that is highly energetic, you will be interacting with your chakras. If you do any research, or if you've done research on awakening the Kundalini, they say that a lot of people who awaken the Kundalini too early, they fall victim to schizophrenia and other mental issues, and they say that's because that's an energetic imbalance in the system. They haven't kind of awakened it slowly. That could be something that people are born with. There's a possibility that the mental issues that you are describing could just be a natural way that your body manifests its chakras and how you deal and how you process with the world. I wish I knew more about the specific mental issues that you're talking about, because if it's schizophrenia, there is a school of thought that if you're seeing spirits, if you're seeing people, that you may not actually be. But on the spiritual side, that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother animal, and it's all about coping with and dealing with actually seeing spirits and working with spirits. So I don't know what your particular case is, so I'll just continue down this path of almost mediumship. When the people are becoming mediums, or if they are mediums from birth, because there are a few people out there, there are people out there who from birth they're able to see spirits, they're able to talk to these things, have conversations with them, see deities, see angels. And if you tell your friends, if you tell your family, they think you're crazy, they put you on medications. So if that is what you're dealing with, it's going to be very hard to find any kind of healthcare person that's going to believe in the spiritual side of things, unless they themselves are pagans or they themselves are highly spiritual and they believe in the supernatural. I would always say follow your healthcare providers advice to the T. These guys have spent time. These ladies and gentlemen have spent time. They spent money. They spent their blood and tears learning how to keep you alive. So by no means is this like saying, hey, don't listen to them. Just be mindful that if it does involve seeing things that other people feel like it's not there, it may just be that they don't understand the supernatural. And I will say this, I mean, magic does deal with different elements. Usually there's a balance there. If you are having some type of issue and it's not supernatural and you're not seeing spirits, things aren't trying to communicate with you, it could just be an imbalance. And a lot of times the medications and things that these doctors are prescribing, they're designed to help you get your body back into balance. I remember reading a book by a guy named Bruce Mercer, or Robert Mercer, or Robert Bruce. I could have the names mixed up because I think they did work together for a certain amount of time. But there are different bodies. You don't just have one body. You've got the physical body here, what you see me speaking through right now. But there's actually several layers of energetic bodies that interact with the world around me. This is why if you feel like someone's staring at you, you kind of get that pull to look in their direction, and when you look at them, they look away. Well, it's said that their physical body has several layers of energy bodies around it, and when they were looking at you, they pushed out a bit of a tendril that touched your energy body. You felt it, and you turned to look at them in response. I bring this up because an imbalance in any one of these bodies could produce massive mental issues if they're not taken care of, and it could be this way from birth due to nutrition or different types of factors in the DNA and just what was handed down to you from family. And once again, sometimes being a medium can be passed down. So it's a highly selective issue without knowing more about your particular case. But yeah, I would just say be mindful if a friend of yours out there, or if you yourself are seeing these things and seeing these spirits, it's best to reach out to your medical team, but also try to see if you can find people out there who are experiencing the same thing. Try to see if they can kind of validate what you see. See if they can see the same facial expressions. See if the spirit is saying the same things to other people who have the ability to see them, if that's what you're experiencing. So I hope that answers the question. I really want to get further and more into this topic. I may put a series of videos on my personal channel to talk more about mediumship, deity, spirits, angels, and how some of the people are born with the ability to see them, and the world around you, that is society, your family, your friends, don't believe that you can see these things, and they label you as crazy. I mean, that is something that's happened to everybody out there. I mean, there's many people who just won't even say anything to anybody, and they live with these abilities and don't say anything. There's a lot of people on television who have these abilities, and some people think that they're fake. There are some people out there that are fake, I'll give you that, but then there are some hosts of these supernatural shows that are 100% real. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you back here on The Pagan Perspective. Thank you so much for watching the video, and blessed be.